Okay, hey everybody, welcome to our weekly mastermind chat. We're going to answer some questions. There's a lot of new people, new questions, hopefully. Lots of things we can help people with. And, we're going to talk about scaling up your business and, the tools that I use to make things so much faster. I think somebody in the group talked about using listing 2 boxes and it taking, all day, 3 or 4 hours. And it really shouldn't do that. You have to judge how much your time is worth. I use scanpower and, yes, it's worth $60 more a month if every time I ship, I can save 5 hours. If I could save an hour a month, it would be worth $60 a month to me. So, you just have to judge what tools you need, because in reality, you only need a few tools. If you're going out shopping, you don't need online sourcing tools like Jungle Scout. They help you if you're doing online sourcing, but if you're not doing online sourcing, don't waste your money on those products. I suggest everyone has some kind of listing software and some kind of third-party scouting software and a Repricer. I'm a little bit on promoting scanpower. It's what I started with. I've tried everything else out there, but scanpower I think is the fastest, easiest thing to use. It has some more tools. It has some more options, but if you don't like scanpower, use Inventory Lab. The only difference is you can list and pack and ship, all in one step. So with Inventory Lab, you can't pack the boxes at the same time, but, whatever you like. It's more about the user interface than anything else with between Inventory Lab and scanpower. And if you're sourcing, find something that you can use to scout with that you like. I like scanpower. I don't. When I started, Inventory Lab didn't have a scouting program. Now I think they have, it's called Scoutify, right, Mark?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like that. Sometimes, some people do, some people don't. You can also use the free one from Amazon. So, there's a lot of options out there now. And, just try them all out. Most of them have a free trial. We're getting discounts for a lot of the companies, so you can try them without a great expense. If you, for a Repricer, I suggest everybody has a Repricer. Repricers are, your competition has one, so you really have to have one. More than anything else, if you don't buy any other tool, find a Repricer. Because if you spend 2 hours repricing your items, within seconds or minutes, that item's going to be repriced again. So
it's so funny, Sean, too. I mean, there's been so many people that, we've spoken with over the past few months. They start out being completely, it seems like a cycle with people as they come into the business. It seems like everybody, when they start out, is against repricers for some reason. And I certainly was. I didn't want to do a repricer because I was afraid of the race to the bottom and all that. But eventually you come around to it, and you see the massive advantage that they give to you in time saving, like you're talking about. You don't have to go in there and reprice every day. I probably still go in to the Repricer that we use. I probably still go in maybe once a week or once every other week and make sure that everything is set the way that I want it to. But every time I change settings in the Repricer, I end up with a huge number of sales over the next couple of days, And it's just because that Repricer is able to keep me in the ball game, keep me in the buy box better. Is that what you find too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the main reason that I, say everyone should have a Repricer is because you need to compete with your competition. But Amazon definitely, gives priority to people who are active in their listings, I would say. If you are changing the prices, if you're repricing, you go to the top of the list, because the people who just list something and forget about it, they forget about you. So, moving those prices really makes a difference. Every once in a while, I just go in my Repricer and change the minimum. So if I have a $6 or $8 default minimum, I'll change that by a penny. If I drop it by a penny or raise it by a penny, it's going to, everything that's at the minimum, it's going to change the price on all those items, because they're already at the minimum, and there's probably people lower than me. So when those prices change, it changes the price on every item. So that's just one of the things that you can do. There's a lot of different options. I use, what do you use, Mark?
For repricing?
Yeah.
App Eagle.
Okay, so I use App Eagle as well. I've been using it since it was $20 a month. Now I think the minimum is $50. We do have a discount code that that I think is pretty good. No matter what you do, if you just go to the website and sign up, you get, I think, 14 days for free. But they were able to give us a discount code where you also get 50% off your first month.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find that. We're putting together a post with all the discounts right now. So, you'll be able to find that in the pinned post in the next couple of days. And I think it's Mayo 50, but I'm not exactly sure. But it'll be in the group. Valerie, do you know what the discount code is?
Yeah, I'll pull it up in just one second.
So, it's basically getting a month free. You get half a month for free, and then you get another, half off. So what you need to do is, try it out. If you don't like it, then go try something else out. There's about 15 different repricers that are affordable. There's a lot of the higher end ones that have $500 or $600 minimum prices. There's a handful of those, but I don't really consider those. And we do have some information in the file section on all the different ones that another member has put together for us. So it's it's a discount code.
Sean, when it comes to tools, what tools do you log into at least once a week that you use?
Well, mainly, scanpower. We use that for listing and scouting. We have it on the phones. And, let's say we just bought, 12 pallets that should be here in the next couple of days. So, the way we're going to go through that is we're going to find everything, that's sellable on those pallets. It's liquidation. So we're going to go through it, find everything sellable. And we use the web version of the Scout. And we may even be using our phones to have, more people to do it at the same time. And we're going to scan those items and pull what we can sell out of it. And every time we list, of course, we use scanpower. We use a list. We use a Scout. If we have if we have a whole spreadsheet, we're going to use scanpower to process that. And we don't use the Repricer. It's a manual Repricer, so we don't use that. But scanpower is the top thing. And of course we're in App Eagle every day. But those are probably my two top tools that I use.
So you log into App Eagle every day?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're either changing prices or setting prices, and when things hit the warehouse, we're double checking, our minimums. I don't really use a maximum setting like a lot of people do, and I don't really use the minimum either, unless I think it's going to go below, where if I don't want it to be the default, so I think we have around a $6 default minimum. So, if it's an item that I think might, drop and I don't want it to, maybe I get Legos, for example, like we had today. If we get some Legos and, maybe they're only selling for $20, but I paid $20 for them. I don't want to sell them for 20. So we'll set the minimum to be higher because I know at fourth quarter when everyone sells out, there's going to be a lot of, increase in price. So, I'll set the minimum then. But I mean, rarely do I set the minimum. It takes a lot of time. We have almost 3,000 different SKUs and over 20,000 total items in the warehouse. So setting all those minimums takes time. So
Yeah,
we,
for sure.
we don't do that. Carol wants to know, is the web version of Scout included in the basic monthly fee for scanpower? The web version is included, in everything. If you have the list or if you just have the mobile Scout, there might be a couple options that doesn't have it, but if you're using the list or you're using the Scout, it's included in almost every plan. There's a lot of plans. I would assume if you have the full suite, it's $59.95 or somewhere around there. And yes, it's included. When you're logged in to your listing or wherever, you log in from a computer and you just click on the Scout or Web Scout and it'll take you right there.
Is that the level that you're using right now, Sean?
Yeah, I use the regular, the suite, the one that has the listing and the scouting and everything else in there. So it's $59.95 a month for what I use. And I am subscribed several times because we do have 2 accounts. And we also have a Canadian account, so we sell in Canada. So I have a separate, it's a separate account. So, we have multiple versions of that. Adrian wanted to know how to know when to dump your inventory. Really that's up to you. Maybe you need money or maybe you're tired of looking at it, or some of the reasons that I dump inventory. Maybe your long-term storage fees are going to be coming soon. It's really on a case-by-case basis. And if you have some specific examples, I could help you with it privately or, it's really up to you, sometimes I just get tired of looking at the stuff, because, it'll be there forever. And what you have to think about is, maybe it's a few dollars below what you want to sell it at, but you've had it there for months, and you need to think about how much money you're losing by not having that money. So if you put something you paid $20 for, and you might lose $2 or $3, but if you have 20 of them and you're going to get $17 back out of it, at some point you need to decide that, well, I can take that money that's just sitting there waiting for me to make $1 extra and reinvest that. Dump it, get the money on the next payout, and reinvest it on something you can make money on.
Yeah, I mean, my recent example for, I, as a rule, I try not to dump inventory. I want to make I try really hard to make at least a 30% net profit margin on everything that I sell, as a minimum. But, I bought those stupid airplanes and made a mistake in my calculation, and I could have been stubborn and they would have sold for a higher price. But, I decided to sell those, and I think I only ended up making like an average of like 14 cents per 24 of those that I sold, and that, so I still made a net profit, but I sure as heck didn't make enough to justify the labor. And, essentially we broke even on those, but it didn't make any sense to leave a few $100s tied up in those things, waiting for a better price to come in November or December, I like this follow-up question that she's asking where she goes, she thinks she's got the wrong mix of products because her sales are 50% of what they were in the spring. But obviously we want to hear what you think of that, Sean, but I'm going to say that, having sales slow down in August is not abnormal, right?
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, what I would say is that, you know, you don't have the right mix of items, because every month, almost since I started, my sales have increased. So, you know, you just have to sell, you know, if you're selling groceries, which everyone knows I'm a big grocery seller, but more than that, I'm a consumable seller. So if it's groceries or health and beauty or beauty products, those don't matter what season. People buy makeup all year long. People buy groceries all year long. People are going to buy vitamins and, you know, Excedrin or whatever all year long. So you need to have you know, a good mix of products that are going to be replenishable. And, you know, I really don't know what kind of products, you know, would be slow, unless it's something for, you know, seasonal, and we're not in that season. You know, but I buy a lot of liquidation. So, you know, people say, well, you know, you have 20,000 items at the warehouse. How can you talk about not, you know, not dumping your product and, you know, making sure your items turn over? But a lot of times I'm paying pennies or dimes for the products I'm buying and selling it for $20. So if I hold it for 6 months, I mean, I'm not, you know, I might have thousands of items that cost me a couple $100. You know, that's the difference. When you're sending items in and only making 50% ROI on them, then it really makes a difference. So
Right.
you know, that, you know, I buy looking at the long term. You know, most sellers, and when you're starting out especially, you're not looking at the long term. You know, you're not going to go and buy a single product and say, well, I want to get 9 months worth of this product. Or in my case, you know, I'm finding items that 9 months of the product are available to me, you know, and I choose to buy it all when I could have just bought a little bit. But it's things that I know, you know, are going to be selling all year long. And I never buy more than I think is going to sell before the long-term storage fees hit.
I mean, that's a strategy that cannot be emphasized enough. You know, if you can get your hands on something that is limited or is not going to be produced anymore, you know, that's the moment when you pull the trigger and you buy every single thing that they've got left. You know, and that can actually get your business to the next level. You know, if you can shut out your competition, then all of a sudden you can see some amazing things happen in your Seller Central account. Right, there's a lot coming in right now. So Rashid says, what scanpower features are used most? He said he signed up for the full suite for evaluation, but he needs to see if he can cut it back to what brings the most value. But I'm going to say, Rashid, that I think that the List Plus Mobile, which is the $60 a month, is really the package that you want to be at. I don't think that.
Yeah, don't cut anything back from that. It's $40 for List. I'm not trying to make this into an advertisement for scanpower.
Right.
It's a $40 for List and a $40 for Scout individually. You know, I mean, the scouting app I use so much, you know, for everything, and the List as well. The List is what takes you from, you know, listing 50 items in 5 hours to listing, you know, hundreds of items in an hour. You know, if you haven't, you know, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you know, so we don't have to rehash everything, go back and look at my videos. Look at the video where I say how I sell or list thousands of items a day using scanpower. You know, it's, you know, we scan it, we print the labels right then, put the labels on the product, and put the product in the box. Nobody else out there can do that. It's just plain and simple. Even Inventory Lab lists in batches. So that means when you complete your order at Inventory Lab, Amazon selects what warehouse. Every time you list an item in...
They have the Inventory Lab has an option now where you can box at the same time. You know, where they lock down your items to a specific warehouse. But it's a little bit less robust than what scanpower does. So I still prefer scanpower for that. And Inventory Lab, the thing that they're lagging on is that they don't print the warehouse code on the label yet. So it's kind of annoying. You have to make sure that you're managing everything really well. So scanpower out of the box right now works best for that. So,
right. And it will list, it will put the warehouse right on the label.
Yeah,
So, the way that we usually do it is we will use a Post-it note, put the information, just put a number. So if we have 30 of an item, we put a Post-it note that says 30 on one item. We list it, put it back on the shelf with the 30 labels, and then we go back behind it, or somebody else usually will take that, put all the labels on them, and put them right in the boxes they go in. And when the box is full, we seal the box, weigh it, and write the information on it. It's just not, it's not that easy to do with any other software out there. So, just try it out. Look and see how I'm doing it. Try it out. You have a free trial, so go do it. And, if it works for you, then keep going. If it doesn't work for you, go try Inventory Lab. It's whatever people prefer. Even the last time we tried Inventory Lab, it was just a lot more steps and a lot more work.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure. Is it Melanie or me, Alan? I'm not sure how to say it, but anyway, they're asking, is there anything special that you say or email to a business when you want to buy from them wholesale? So for me, yes, there is. I've got a template that I use, and I'll be happy to share that with you if you like. Go ahead and message me after the meeting, and I'll be happy to share that with you. You said I'm new. There's a small company that you want to approach. So yeah, so there's some things that you can do when you're wanting to approach a company to set up a wholesale account that's going to give you a good advantage and hopefully give you a higher approval rate to set up a wholesale account. And then they're asking, have you ever gone direct with a big company like Kellogg's and tried to purchase wholesale? And if so, what happened? And the one thing that I want to say about that is that a lot of times when it comes to really, really big companies like Kellogg's or Nestle or Jam Smuckers, those kind of companies, you can oftentimes go to Walmart and buy almost the same price that they're selling at wholesale, but you don't have minimum purchase requirements, and you don't have any of the wholesale hassles that you have to deal with if you are a wholesale buyer. So a lot of times, at least in today's economy with Target and Walmart and all these other, Sam's Club and Costco out there, it doesn't really make sense to go direct with companies of that size. Unless, and I'll give Sean the floor here, but that's my 2 cents, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I've shared a lot of stories of how I've, had similar experiences. A great way to find, big distributors. Most of them are not going to sell to you directly, and they don't sell to anybody directly unless it's like Walmart, where they're sending dozens of truckloads to their distribution centers. But it's a great way to find distributors that have, a lot of products, a wide variety of products. So what I would do is I would contact Kellogg's or Nestle or whoever you want to buy from, and ask them for a local distributor in your area to buy their products from. Tell them you are whatever you want to tell them, a small independent grocery store, or what you are. You're selling to a bigger variety of people, but it doesn't matter what you tell them, because you're not going to be doing business with them. You're only trying to find a place to do business with. You should always be upfront when you get to the distribution channel, but you're not going to be buying directly from Kellogg's. You're going to be buying from the local distributor that they're selling to. And that's a great way to find your local distributors, is to contact the manufacturer. And a lot of times they'll give you several. And once you open an account with them, you can tell them you're selling online. You don't want to hide these things from the distributors, because they're going to find out eventually. So there's no point in buying and, building up your product line, and then you can't buy from them anymore, and you have to start over. So I don't go out telling people what I do to those kind of companies, but If they ask, I'm going to tell them, you know, that I do sell online.
Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to find the email template. Let's see here. We get caught up. Scanpower. All right. Takes us a full day and night to get a shipment out. So Carol says it takes us a full day and night to get a shipment out. We need to learn how to use a hand scanner to enter items into inventory and use the Dymo printer. We do everything manually for lack of knowing how to use proper tools to list and create labels.
Well, if you use scanpower or inventory lab, then it's all, you know, a one-shot deal. You're using a USB scanner, you scan the barcode, it brings all the information up. You basically only have to set your price, and it'll show your competition on that same screen. So you can just click on, you know, if you want to compete with the cheapest price, click on the cheapest price. If you want to click on the second cheapest, click on that. And then it's going to print right to your Dymo printer right then as you go. You don't have to go back at the end. That's where you save your time, because you can label as you go. If you don't want to use a third-party app, there's a software called listlabelship.com, and I think it's $5 a month, and then you can print right through Seller Central. But Seller Central is very slow to list. I highly recommend that you use some kind of third-party software for your listing.
Yeah, and Carol, I mean, what I'm kind of hearing in that question is more of a, you know, and I think it's this. I think it's this way with most questions that we get from folks that are working, you know, on their business and just trying to get things moving a little bit faster. But I promise you, you get yourself a Dymo printer or you get some other thermal printer, and you set up your scanpower account and you just go through one shipment. Force yourself to go through one shipment, okay, where you're listing. And you know what? You're going to find that it's easy. It's easier than you could have imagined. There's, you know, and a lot of these questions, I feel that there's sort of trepidation that, hey, we haven't done it. We're not sure how to do it. But you know what? Just do it. Just do it, and you're going to have a good time. It's going to go a lot faster. I mean, as good of a time as you can when you're listing and packing. But you know, just force yourself to go through that process on one shipment. I mean, pick 20 products and just create a shipment out of that using scanpower list or go through inventory lab, whichever tool you decide that you want to give a try to first. You're going to be so much happier than having gone through Seller Central. I promise you that. And there's tons and tons and tons of resources online. Everything from Sean to, I mean, there's so many different resources out there of people that have spoken about how to get shipments done through these various tools. Not to mention all the tutorials on the different sites, like, you know, that scanpower has and Inventory Lab has, and, you know, all that stuff. So, so if you know, and if you get stuck, as always, you guys can message us in the group. Right. So, so, you know, Adriana and Carol, you know, you can do it. I promise you that. Let's see here.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick just to show everybody what listing an item with scanpower looks like.
That's a good idea.
So you can see, okay, so here's basically my screen. I logged into scanpower. Let me move this stuff out of the way. So, so we log in, I go to list. Here's all my different warehouses I'm shipping to. Some items I got from a couponer. So I'd scan with my barcode like this. It brings up, finds the item, brings it up, gives all your information. So I bought this from a couponer, which I entered in previously. Here's my cost. You can enter in the price you want it right here, or if you leave it blank, it'll show you the information. You enter your quantity, and you can enter your cost and a source if you want to, and an expiration information if you want to. Of course, this item don't expire. You hit OK. And hopefully it brings you to another screen. And then it's going, this is your printer. It brings up your printer and tells you what shipment it was added to, and it prints the barcode out. And I already have it listed, so it didn't bring up the next screen, but this is what your next screen looks like. And then you can just select, you can click, these are preset ones that you can set up when you set up the software. So you can just click on it, automatically changes the price, or you can select your competition. The first one is merchant fulfilled new, merchant fulfilled used. Of course, there's no used beauty items. Amazon's selling this item for $6.99. And then these are your FBA competition. So if you match this price, it's going to show you your net payout, and or you can just enter the price that you want in there. So, you know, if you want to match Amazon's price of $6.99, it's going to show you this is your payout after fees at $1.26. Now, when we bought this, Amazon wasn't selling it, but I bought it in a lot deal, so you know, it didn't matter. I had to take it. And then you hit OK, and it set the price to that, and you're done. And when you're finished, you can just click on this finish shipment, and then you go back to scanpower. You go back to Seller Central and print your shipping labels. And I mean, that's literally all there is to it. And then, you know, this is the scouting software. So, you know, if you had a bunch of items you wanted to check your price on, or, you know, you go to somebody's house and they have a whole collection of books, you could just bring a handheld USB or wireless scanner and a laptop, plug it in, and you could scan everything right through here. And this is what the information looks like. Very similar to the listing, and very similar to the Scout as well. And, you know, and that's it. I mean, it is ridiculously simple to do. You know, just find something that's going to save you time. And, you know, this is how we list hundreds and thousands of items sometimes.
Okay,
A lot of comments.
John, can I go ahead and, would you mind if I shared my screen really quick? I've got a copy of that letter.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Bear with me here just a second, guys. Man, tons of value on the call tonight, right? Let's get some pats on the back going in the chat there. All right. So, can y'all see? I'm just sharing like a notepad version of the letter here. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple of really quick hints on this. By the way, you know, I just want to point out really quickly that there are some groups out there that are charging, you know, $600 on up. Some of them monthly, you know, at least $200 to $300 and more for the kind of information that we share weekly with you guys. And so, you know, mad props go out to Sean for setting up these groups and running them the way that he does. So, okay, so this is the letter, and this is, honest to God, this is the letter that I use, the template that I use to. So hopefully the sound I'm hearing is tons of people taking screenshots of this. So feel free to use this. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have reached out, or I'll know who the person is that I'm going to be touching base with. You know, like I might call the company and listen to a voicemail or something like that, you know, to get their name. It's not necessary that you have their name, but it makes it, again, we're in the business of setting up relationships, right? So if you can address somebody by their name, you know, it makes it better. So hello, whatever their name is. As an online retail company, we're always looking. So we're going to brown nose them a little bit. We're going to give them validation. We're going to tell them how awesome they are first. You know, as an online retail company, we're always looking for new and exciting products to add to our store, and we're extremely interested in your specific widget line of products. Okay, so that specific widget is you're naming a specific line of product that they have. Okay, and it doesn't matter what it is; it just pick one. Okay, and so we're interested in your, you know, Tonka truck line of products, as we believe they'll add significant enjoyment and value to our customers. So there's a few things that you're accomplishing in this first paragraph, right? You're telling them that you have an online presence, right? You're not disclosing the fact because it's not the point, it's not the time yet to tell them that you're with Amazon, but you're telling them that you do sell online. And what's going to end up happening is when they respond to you, a lot of times if selling on Amazon's important to them, they're going to ask you that question in the reply. So then the next thing that I always do is I always include the uniform sales and tax certificate in my email, because that shows the wholesaler that I'm serious about setting up an account with them. You know, I'm not messing around just like putting a feeler out. It's kind of how it used to be, like when China, you'd go out there and everybody wanted free shipping for samples, and eventually they got wise to the fact that it's 99% of the people asking for free samples from China are people sitting in their basements at home, right? So, you know, when you send the uniform sales and use tax certificate filled out, they know you're a serious buyer, right? Or at least it comes across like that. So please find the uniform sales and use tax certificate and a copy of our reseller license in order to set up an account. If you can think of anything else that we would need to submit to you, please contact us at your earliest convenience. So you're kind of psychologically, you're planting that seed for them to reach out to you, which is always a good thing to do, right? You always want to like get them to make the next move, okay? So you're inviting them to do that. And then the last little paragraph here is we're eager to begin buying and to place our first order with from your company. So we really appreciate it if you could send over your catalog. Oh, sorry, this particular letter was, they had already sent me a catalog, but whatever. So just change that to fit whatever the situation is. We're already busy evaluating your products to find what best fits our store and more specifically our customers. We hope you have a wonderful day. All our best. Mark Line. Now, look at this right here. You guys see that? Need some yeses in the chat if you see what I just highlighted. That's key, okay? This is like one of my big tips is I'm not the president of the company, I'm the lead buyer, okay? Because it would be really weird for the CEO of a, you know, larger company, you know, or a more established company to be reaching out and setting up wholesale accounts. I'm not going to say it's horrible if you've already done that, but I'm just saying that from now on, call yourself a lead buyer, okay? Because as lead buyer for your company, which you are, right? It's more of a job title that's sort of, it's more meaningful when you're reaching out to set up a wholesale account. So, and then I put, you know, my company's name and, you know, my phone number, you know, and that's about it, you know. So Sean, would you have anything to add here?
No, that's a great tip. You know, you might think it's better to be saying, well, I'm the owner of the company and I should, you know, I'm dealing with you. But in reality, it's they, you know, the owner contacting them, you know, makes it a much smaller deal than, you know, the lead buyer of a bigger company.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It makes you sound, it actually makes you sound like you're a much smaller business if you're reaching out as the CEO or the president. And this is especially true when you guys take the next step, which is to begin private labeling. You reach out to a company in China, and you're the president or the owner of the company, you've lost almost all of your negotiation power. Because the owner of the company would never, in their culture, the owner of the company would never stoop to reach out to a salesperson, right? But if you're the buyer, you know, then that makes sense to reach out to a salesperson. So there's just kind of a lot of these little tips of how to, it's sort of counterintuitive because, you know, in the past, like I kind of always thought, oh yeah, if I'm reaching out as the owner of the business, then that means that I'm serious and blah, 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 blah. But actually it's counterproductive. It works against you. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. And let's see, how are we doing on time? So we got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah. So, Carol, I wanted to touch on something she asked. You know, using scanpower, does the software assign randomly a fulfillment center you have listed. And that's one of the big things about scanpower, is that it doesn't. It's sending each item to Amazon and letting Amazon assign it. A lot of the other ones are guessing, or getting information from Amazon, but until you complete the order, it's not definitely going there. So many people using Inventory Lab have put it in boxes, and then it's had to be moved. They may have done something recently, so that's not the case. But in my experience, that's what was happening. So nobody is actually assigning those. It's being assigned by Amazon 100% of the time for everything. But the way Amazon scanpower does it is they get the final assignment every time you list, as opposed to other software who doesn't do it until you hit that button that you're done. And what that does is that allows you to box the items as you go, which saves so much time. If you list through Seller Central, usually you're triple handling the items. You take the item, you list it, and then when you're done, you have to go find all those items and put a label on it. And then you have to go behind, and then you have to figure out what goes in what boxes. With scanpower, you do that all in one step. And that's why I like it, and that's why it saves me time, and that's how, we send thousands of items a week. I think you had some other questions, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get caught up here because they're kind of coming in fast. So there was a follow-up. Meowlin said, thanks, Mark, I'll message you. That was before I shared the letter. I typically purchase by the case from a local store. Do you use reseller certificate at the grocery store? Yeah, so at grocery stores, it's at least, okay, so in Texas, we don't get charged sales tax on grocery items. So I do not use my reseller certificate for grocery items, but I definitely use it on, like if I'm buying toys or any other non-grocery items, I definitely do that. No matter where I'm at, except for Target and Kohl's and, that kind of thing. I love it. They already think I'm nuts when I order things by the case. I know, me too, totally. But I still do it. And you know what? Here's the thing. The buyers at the grocery store, which is who you're hopefully dealing with, right? The guys that sit in the back that buy all the inventory and keep the shelf stocked, they love you, actually. When you go in and you say, or when you give them a call and you say, hey, I want 10 cases of whatever the item is, of this barbecue sauce or of this whatever it is, that helps them get their bonuses, because a lot of them don't necessarily get bonused on individual products that sell, but they get bonused on the number of cases that they move in and out of their store. And so it's a good thing, even though they think you're nuts, they actually secretly love you. So let's see here. Philip asks, could you walk through your process of buying a liquidation lot? For example, we could probably do a whole webinar just on that. For example, I've looked into 888 lots. Something looks good as far as investment level, but when I look at the manifest, it's a mix of all kinds of things. Some categories I may not be approved in, ranks all over the place. Seems scary to buy one of those. And Sean, this is your area of expertise.
Yes, I don't like 888 lots. I spent a lot of time talking to them. I've said it before. And I think that the way that they do business is a little bit underhanded. They're also 888 Digital, so if you're getting into liquidation, you'll see stuff from 888 Digital. That's the same company. And what they do is they tell you, well, it costs this much, and this is all the ASINs because they're buying it from Amazon, and this is how much you're going to make, but it's not how much you're going to make. Usually they're telling you it's 15%, is how they calculate the fees. So everybody knows nobody's ever sold anything in FBA and only paid 15% in fees. That's one fee, and they know that, but that's how they promote their goods. So if you're doubling your money or making 50% ROI on the stuff, you're not actually making that. And if they told you that, it would be fine, but they're not doing that. They're not advertising it that way. I think most things from there, are by category. There might be some mixed up categories, and it's very easy to figure out how much you're making. Again, you go back to scanpower and use their scanpower evaluate, and there's some other companies who are doing something similar, but I'm already using scanpower, so I might as well, use the things that are already included. So you download the spreadsheet from 888 lots and you upload it into scanpower evaluate. And it's going to tell you, it's like taking each ASIN and punching it in to the scout and getting the information back, but it's all in a spreadsheet. You send one spreadsheet in, you download another one with all similar information. So, and it's going to tell you how much you're going to make on every item. And just one moment.
You do have to be careful, though, when you're using evaluate. Uh-oh, did we lose Sean? Sean, are you still there?
I'm here.
You have to be careful when you guys are using evaluate, because it's an automated software. So sometimes it's going to mismatch, or sometimes it's not going to take into consideration multi-packs, or usually you don't run into bundles, but multi-pack is like the big issue. So when you get that list back, as you're kind of sorting through it, and Sean, this might be another great topic for a webinar, is kind of what you and I both do individually when we get that evaluate list back, how we sort through everything, and it'd probably be helpful for the group too. But once I start sorting through and filtering out the different results, then when I find the 10 to 15 items that I'm really interested in, I go through that list and I evaluate each one manually and specifically. Just because evaluate says I'm going to make 20,000% profit doesn't mean that I'm going to trust that.
And it's not just evaluate. Every software is going to be like that.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. The software you use isn't the point. It's the tools. You're finding the best tools that you can to evaluate these lists. Now, if you're buying from a liquidator like 888 Lots, or you're buying from a big liquidator selling by the pallet or by the truckload, if it's manifested, it's going to be a spreadsheet. And if you have a UPC code, or the Amazon ASIN, which is rare, you can upload those into those softwares, and then you can take a list of 10,000 items and get it down to a couple hundred, and then you can sort it by how much money you're going to make, your ROI, your dollar profit, and you're going to find the items that you want to buy. And it's the same with wholesale. A lot of wholesalers have these big lists. Now, if you get a list with 5,000 items, how are you going to go through? You're not going to search for everyone on Amazon. You're going to use one of these tools to, to break it down and get to a handful of items that you can use. And, it doesn't matter how you're buying. As long as you can get that list from somewhere, then you can evaluate it for your best items.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So Adriana asked, does scanpower show profit and loss? And yes, it does.
Yes.
Definitely. If you've got some past history in there, it can kind of be a little bit of a chore to get the profit and loss thing to work with scanpower. It's this is an area where Inventory Lab is a little bit superior to scanpower. Like scanpower's list function is, I think, head and shoulders above Inventory Lab. The accounting side of Inventory Lab, I think, is a lot better than scanpower's, a lot less buggy. And the truth be told, right, I want to be full disclosure here. I use both. Okay, so I use scanpower for listing, and I use Inventory Lab for keeping track of my profit and loss and all that stuff. So not that anybody else here needs to do that, but that's kind of, I haven't found a package that does everything exactly the right way that I like, and so I use both. Let's see here. I don't understand the shipment part of that. Okay, so Carol says I don't understand the shipment part of that. I think she's referring back to what you shared, Sean. Does the software assign the item randomly to a fulfillment? Oh, you already answered that?
Covered that, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry. All right, then there's a bunch.
Adrian wants to know if scanpower prints the destination on the label. Yes.
Yes,
That's
it does.
What I mentioned. I don't know if That was after I talked about that. But yeah, it prints the destination on every label. So if it splits it into 3 warehouses, you do 15 of an item, split to 3 warehouses. Each label is going to show which warehouse. So
Exactly.
1, 3 to 1, 2 to 1. It's going to say that warehouse on each one.
It's super awesome. It's fantastic, because then you really are just handling it once, right, Sean? I mean, you've got, you yank that label off of the dymo and you stick it on the item, and then that item goes to that warehouse. It's great.
Right. And we put it in the box. And the way we do it, I used to have pictures in the grocery group. I don't think I ever posted them in the mastermind, but what we do is we line up, usually we'll have, right now we've got like 11 different warehouses, but usually we have 3 warehouses and then maybe, one for everything that goes together, like CVG or AVP or wherever you have your bulk items going to. So usually we would have 4 boxes lined up next to each other. We fold the one flap down and we write CVG 3, AVP 1, BNA 3, right on those flaps. So we put a label that says BNA 3 and we throw it in the box, and maybe when we get done, we need to reorganize it, or, we're packing it neatly as we go. It depends on what the kind of items are. Sometimes you have items that you can just throw in a box, and sometimes you don't. And Philip wanted to know if there's a standalone tool similar to scanpower evaluate. There's many tools out there, but it is a scanpower. Scanpower evaluate is a standalone tool. You don't have to have any kind of subscription. All you have to do is create an account, and you can do up to 50 items. It's not included in the suite. It's a free software. So you can upload a spreadsheet up to 50 items, and after that there is a small fee, and I think it goes up to 25,000 items. And I think after that you can email them and they'll, they can do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the evaluate thing, I'm always uploading lists that are above that 50 item limit. So I always pay when I use it, but it's so worth it, guys. I mean, come on, you're gonna, you can upload something like a list of 5,000 items, I think, for $10. I don't remember exactly what the pricing is, but it saves so much time. You just, when I was at ASD,
I think they have an unlimited deal as well. But, how much time are you going to spend going through a spreadsheet to find 1 or 2 good items out of 10,000? So, I'm not saying use, that it, it might not be the best thing, but, it's what I use. And, there's some other things. There's, what is it? Scanner Monkey has a new software out where, it'll track all those things for you. But, they charge you based on how many things you're tracking. So, but you can upload a spreadsheet and it'll track that there too. So there's several different companies out there that are doing things. It's just, I use everything else for scanpower. So, it's easy to log into the same thing and it works. They all have the same problems. None of them know if your spreadsheet has a single item on it or a case, and what Amazon is looking at is a multi-pack. I think scanpower is the closest one because a lot of times they can tell the multi-packs and the bundles. But they all have the same issues. So I just choose to use everything in the same suite. But if you find something better, then use that. It's just, it's all about going out and finding tools. And, we've evaluated most of them. So if you have a question about one, we can tell you about the pros and cons. But, find a tool to make your life easier. You join this group to, grow your business. And the way you grow your business is make more time for scouting. That's what all this business is all about. Amazon's taken all the hard work. They pack, they ship, they send stuff out, they warehouse all your items. They do all the customer service. They've taken it down to all you have to do now is find stuff and send it to them. So what these tools do is make it easier for you to send the stuff to them, and it makes it easier to source the items. So, make use of these tools. Is it worth $10 to save 5 hours of time to look through a spreadsheet? You know, if it's not, then, you know, maybe you need to find something else to do. But, you know, get out there and find as much product as you can. And if you need to use a tool, then spend the money on the tools. But don't go buy tools you don't need.
Hey, Sean, I wanted to address one last question here. Meowlin asked this question. I can use my Amazon store name, however, I don't have an online presence or website. I imagine that could be an issue. They may Google me. Yeah, you know, so I would strongly recommend that you guys, if you don't have a website, you know, because most of you guys, when you're going out and setting up wholesale accounts, most of you guys are going to offer up that you sell online. You know, domain registration costs, I think, between $5 and $15, and the hosting costs between $5 and $15. And you know, you can get up there and you could just put up like a regular WordPress site, or you could put up Wix. You could use Wix, or you could use Shopify. You know, there's 1,000 different ways to skin this cat, but yeah, you should have a website. If you're an online retailer, you should, you know, now what some people do is they use their Amazon store name, and they list that site. But that can be kind of a sticky way to set up wholesale accounts. You know, you might get declined more immediately and right away. But yeah, you know, this should actually be like, if you guys don't have online shopping cart, it should be a top priority. You should get that done this week. You know, it's simple to do and fast, and it gives you a level of legitimacy that people who are just people who are not as serious as you guys are, it gives you that level of legitimacy when they do look you up. So, and they will, you know, a lot of them won't, but you know, I guarantee it's going to be that account that you really, really want to get set up. That's going to be the one that looks you up online and isn't able to find you. And that's the one that you're gonna think back, and you're gonna remember that Mark told you to put up a website, and you're gonna feel really bad that you didn't listen to me. So anyway, yeah, you can absolutely use an umbrella company name for the website. You can use, there's some guys that go out, or some people that go out and they set up their website as if they're a distribution company. And that's perfectly acceptable way to do that as well, right? And then that makes you actually look bigger than you are too. So that's fine as well. You don't have to have a shopping cart. You could just have like a landing page of, you know, Carol's Distribution Company LLC or whatever it is, and then you could list some of the brands that you carry, you know. So, all right, that's it for me. Man, you know, we didn't even get to the thing that I'm amazed at, Sean, is, you know, once we start taking questions and answers, like we didn't get to half the topics we were thinking about today, you know.
Well, that's all right, because I mean, this is to help everybody with their problems, not to stay focused on one particular topic.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and plus it gives us stuff to talk about next week. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I mean, if all we did was answer questions every week, you know, I'm fine, because that's what people need is help, not to talk about, you know, whatever we want to talk about.
Yep.
We're
yeah,
here to talk about what you want to talk about.
Too, I'm going to add into that if anybody has questions, like Rashid, I don't know if you had a couple more questions that you felt didn't get answered, you can always ask them in the group. You can post it in the group. You can reach out to any one of us, you know, and we're happy to address them, not just here. So, you know, that's what we're here for. That's what the group is for. So feel free to ask those questions at any time. And then if you guys also, for those of you who have, you know, a fear or some sort of issue of talking with these, you know, whether it's a big company or a smaller company, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you market yourself, learn how to like market yourself better. It's something I did for a really long time with, you know, Fortune 500 companies and from big to small. So if you guys, it's not as hard as it seems, and it seems to always take up, you know, a good amount of time in our group. So it's really simple. And if you guys need help with strategy, you know, things to say, it's really easy, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can to help you guys do that. So feel free to reach out for that too.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and if you don't want to post something publicly, of course, you can message any of us. If you want us to look at a product, if you're outsourcing, just send me a PM. I'm always at a phone or something to help you, unless I'm sleeping.
Always.
So
be serious.
So, you know, send me a PM. If you're outsourcing somewhere, you know, if you need a question answered right now, you know, if you don't know to buy something, you know, send us a message, send me a message, and, you know, I'll help you out and tell you if you should buy it or not.
I love this comment down here at the very bottom of the chat. Danita says, thanks, good session. I'm glad I finally made it to one of these. Yep. Right? So get in the Facebook chat and tell people what they missed and that they need to come to these live and get one-on-one attention from all of us. So
everything's on the replay. We record every video we do. Yep. But, you know, it's always better to be able to interact and answer your questions as you go.
Yeah, we're much more awesome live.
Well, yeah, definitely. Right. All right. Hey.